What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I'm not sure if I shared this out correctly. It looked like I had to just, looks like I just kind of maybe just did that. I'm not sure. So I'm going to give it some time for people to find me. And then I'm going to kick in to this Tuesday night tips. For those who haven't watched this before or haven't tuned in, this is our third or fourth week doing this, and it's called Tuesday Tips. And the idea is for us to have a conversation scheduled every Tuesday night where beginners can come over and learn something on the channel, and people who have fished for a long time can come and chat and maybe help the younger anglers. Shane Flint, thanks for coming in. If you just jumped on, I'm not sure I shared it out correctly, so it might take a minute for a couple people to find the channel, but thanks for coming over. Let me make you a moderator so that if you can, if more people pile in, you can share your channel out. I'm not real good with that stuff yet. So for now, I'm just kind of throwing moderators out there and then deleting moderators because I don't want them all hanging out there. But welcome. So I was just kind of talking to space here. Tuesday Tips is for, the idea is to teach younger people to fish, and a new fishermen that might not have been grown up in a house, have fishing parents and grandparents. It's an opportunity for them to come and ask any type of question they want, and for more experienced anglers to just come and have fun, chat, and hopefully help some of the younger anglers out. See here. I don't know if I gave you, yeah, I think I gave you the moderator there. Awesome. Give it a couple more minutes. Thanks, man. You been getting out at all, Shane? What are you up to these days in the winter? I'm not sure if I remember where you're from. Remind me where you're from. I just got home from work and my brain's fried a little bit. Virginia, yep. I thought you were down that way. Yeah. Yeah, we're in Pennsylvania, so it's probably about the same. Might be a little bit colder up here, but I don't know. I keep watching all these cat fishermen down in Virginia area, and it's like they're still catching. And I don't know, maybe we stink up here, but I think the catfish are shut down. The carp are still out if you want to chase them, but the catfish bite's really not happening around here. From eastern Pennsylvania, so I'm north of Philadelphia by like an hour and a half between here and like Jim Thorpe. Between Philly and Jim Thorpe, I'm kind of in the middle there. So I like the spot. We got the ocean nearby. We got the mountains. We could go out to Lake Erie in 5 hours. Not too far from Easton. Easton's right on, what's that? Is that the Lehigh that goes up there? So we're just west. We're a little west of there. Easton's an awesome spot, though. Lehigh, I'm trying to think of the other river because they call that like two rivers area. And there's two main rivers there. It's going to drive me nuts. Oh man, what are you doing in State College? It's one of my favorite places. I used to hang out there all the time. My buddy's a Penn State guy, and he used to play up there. He was in a band. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm hoping my boys, that's one of the colleges that I kind of got picked out for them if they want to do the outdoors thing. Yeah, that's awesome. What do you do? You don't have to answer if it's too personal, but I'm just curious. You like a teacher, or you work at the I guess you're remote, right? Are you living in Virginia, but you're working up at Penn State? We used to go to, I used to camp at Bald Eagle State Forest for like weeks on end and just mountain bike all back in there. So awesome. Bud Files, thanks for finding us. I don't know if I posted this correctly tonight. I thought I had it out there, and I just found something that was like, it said like done. Like when you're setting up your live, it's like, oh crud. So I hit that. Thanks for coming out and finding us tonight. I am Shane. I'm one of the directors of the research lab. Part of it's in Virginia. Gotcha. That's awesome. That's really cool. We'll wait till a couple more people pile. I'm not going to wait too much longer though to kind of kick into our spiel, because I know some people watch this on a rewind. I'm just going to start with fan mail. We don't ask for fan mail. We don't get into that whole sticker exchange. Not someday we will. It's a lot of work. But we got a letter from Dylan. Said, hope you and your family had a great holiday season. It has been a great joy to watch you and your son fishing together. Keep the videos coming and enjoy the stickers. They sent us a Wild Japan sticker. You see that right there? Awesome channel, Wild Japan. I'll put it like down below in this video once it posts if anyone's interested. But he does like well, it's a husband and wife, I believe. I don't know if they're married now, but a couple, and they live in Japan, and they hike all over the place. And I just find it fascinating because it's a whole nother part of the world. And it's like the minor things that they're not even talking about. They're talking about like the actual hike and stuff. And I'm just like blown away, like the animals and the trees and the terrain. And it's a cool channel. We went over like the resolutions last year for our channel, or last week for our channel. One of the goals was life lists. We were trying to keep track of all the species of fish that we caught. Last weekend, we went to the shore and we caught 4 new species. We caught, let's see if I can remember all, a striped killifish, a sand eel. What was the other 2? Sand eel, killifish. I can look it up on my app real quick. Fish, striped. I was trying to remember. Got too much going on to remember. I put it on Fish Brain and bounced it off a few of the good species dudes that know all the different species. Sheep's head minnow. I don't know. You're not going to be able to see. Yeah. Sheep's head minnow. That's the striped killifish. It's like a little bottom fish. Caught shrimp. Atlantic silverside. Now this one we went back and forth with labeling it it's either a silverside or it's a bay anchovy. I went with silverside because it has like it looks like it's got like 2 dorsals. They're so tiny it's hard to see. But I'd say if I had to say if it was 1 or 2 dorsals, I'd say 2. And that's one of the markers or distinguishing traits that make it a silverside and not an anchovy. And the mouth seemed to match up more with the silverside. So we went with the silverside. I don't know. It could be an anchovy. I'm not an expert. I have a lot of respect for the people like around us, Extreme Philly. That guy is like, he can tell you like 30 different distinguishing traits on some minnow that looks just like every other minnow. Let me show you the sand eel. Sand snake eel. So that's it. They're pretty cool though. My boy caught them. He caught shrimp, caught a bunch of other stuff too. Mostly just netting and playing around in the water. Lamb Jam, welcome. Thanks for coming over. Lamb Jam, I think I met on Fish Brain as well. Thanks for stopping by tonight. So what have you been up to, Lamb Jam? I didn't get the update from you. I was talking to Shane before you and Bud came in. So what have you been up to, Lamb Jam and Bud? All you guys have great channels, by the way. I watch all you guys. So if you haven't checked each other out, feel free to do so. I think you guys are all moderators. Feel free to drop your links, share. It's one of the little benefits of having the channel like this or joining the program is you can share your own channels out there. And I don't expect to have everybody's answers that eventually hopefully find this channel. I just want to have like a network of folks together that might be, better at breaking down a lake than I am, or better at bank fishing than I am. And they can, I can send them your way and you get a new sub out of it. Fished with my son on Lake Jordan, and we caught 3 for about 8 pounds, all spotted bass. You're from Texas, right? I think I got the right guy. I think we talked about bass versus, that's huge, man. 8 pounds, spotted bass. Awesome. Alabama. Jeez, man. Alabama. That's insane up here. Like if you caught an 8 pounder, that's like insane up here. We see like, and it's not easy to catch 5 pounders. And I don't want to repeat the same stories, but I grew up in a fishing family. My dad was like a straight up bass fisherman. That's pretty much all he fished for. And I don't know if he ever caught any over 5 pounds. And my 9-year-old's already caught like 3 or 4 over 5 pounds. But my dad, that generation they were doing more work. They weren't out playing in the lakes and stuff. And our big trip was like up to Canada, where it's a beautiful area. They'd have pickerel and or pike and bass, but they weren't huge bass. 3 totaling 8 pounds. All right, thanks, man. I feel a little bit better now. It's like, holy cow, 8 pounds is gotcha. All right. What else? I wanted to cover a couple of things here. I just wrote this and I can't even write. The subs, we went, going back to my board, got to keep myself on pace because I do like 50 different things at once with my job and trying to keep everybody in the family happy. We're competing in the Sunfish King. That starts January 16th. If you guys aren't subbed over to Sunfish King, check him out. He's got a really supportive channel, helps out a lot of other channels, but he's running this competition. It's free. It runs, I think I'm like a sponsor or something. I threw him a couple dollars and he like said I'm a sponsor. That's awesome. It's like January 16th to March. And there's a couple different categories you can compete in. Biggest fish and most species. And you don't have to like say what category you're in, but all the rules are over there. I don't want to get them all wrong, but you basically are taking pictures of your fish. And like I'm not going to attempt to do the size because you got guys out saltwater and they're gonna have bigger fish than we're gonna have in our area. But we catch a lot of multi-species, so we're gonna compete in that. And for the multi-species category, I think you take a picture of each species. You can do 5 different species a week. So like if you can catch 5 fish of any size on a line and hook, and you keep catching 5 a week, and they can't repeat the same species, that's a ton of different species. So that kind of goes along with our first goal of doing extending the life list and keeping track of how many species of fish we caught. My wife's hopefully working on the macro and micro invertebrate playlist. She's a biologist, so kind of gave her a job to do and kind of put together a little playlist where everybody can kind of refer to and see what critters are in the creeks around here. And I think for me personally, I already use her information and knowledge for fly fishing all the time. And then the last update was the subs. I got to update this 403 and we're at 431 right now. You know how that goes up and down, but gained like 30 subs this week, which was awesome. All right. There, Lamb Jam just shared his link out. Check him out. I'm going to just, I guess, start. I don't know if you guys saw the details on the video, but I liked the idea this week. Like I kind of asked out there on a couple of different forums for opinions on what people wanted to discuss or what they thought would be cool to discuss for fishing. One of them came up, break down body of water to fish. One was just rigging like a power worm. One was winter bank fishing, and one was bait, like basically live bait, like what bait to use for which fish and things like that. So I am not like the expert in this at all. So what I want to do in the weeks to come is like share links, but I am a licensed fishing guide. Fished mainly in Alaska when I was guiding, and so I did mainly rivers, but I can give you the general idea. I've gone out and done a lake breakdown with Gray Buck. He's like the local bass fisherman in this area, and he's really good. I think he's like 14th in our country last year. He finished. He's like a really good bass fisherman. And I'm not big into electronics, but he took us out on the local lake, and he had the electronics. And I can't say, like, obviously it works. It's a really good way to pinpoint where the fish are most likely to be. And that's what you're doing. You're working with percentages to save time. On the community section of my page, I posted a long list of what we do to break down and prepare to fish. Awesome, man. I'm going to just show you what like I do, but Lamb Jam's got some lake breakdowns as well. Check that out. I think, what's Ted's channel? Ted's got, what's his channel? Ted's doing I think for his like members, if you become a member to his channel, I gotta find him. I can't believe I can't think of his name. I always call him Ted, so now I forget what his channel name is. He probably will pop up if I search here. Off the Hook. I think it's Off the Hook. He's doing a thing where if you join as like a member and you pay money, and I don't think it's even monthly, like you put like a $5 fee or something like that. You can tell him a lake and he will break down the lake for you. Spencer's Food Reviews. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to I know I've seen you before and we've chatted before. I trust you. I'm going to make you a moderator. So if you want to share your links or whatever, go ahead and do that. I'm doing good, man. My younger Kevin, the guy that fishes with me, he's out at the Urban Air, which is like a trampoline park. And my older boy, Lyle, is upstairs. He may come down and create havoc later. My wife's jumping with my younger son. So breakdown, the guys are going to get really scientific with breakdowns, but I'm just going to touch on the general idea because like I said before, this channel is really for a person who's just starting to get into fishing. And I think you could scare them off when you get into the too technical stuff. And I talk like my dad and a lot of the old timers that I grew up fishing with, they'd laugh at this stuff. But they also spend a lot more time on the water than we have time to spend. We're all busy working and stuff, but you can get maps like this. I'm just going to hold it up. I'm not going to see my face. I'm going to hold this up close so you see it. There's all different maps that you can get that give you the contour lines of the lake. And we'll even tell you, like this is Nakamixon, which is like a really good musky lake, striped bass around here. And it's a big lake. It's real deep. We'll give you the depths. And it'll even tell you where the fish are. But they move from season to season. But so for that, I'm going to kind of give you the idea of what I do to break down any body of water. I can walk to a lake I've never been to. And with my kid, he doesn't want to fish a place we've been to. He's always wanting to hit new water. And we'll see something like on a map and we'll just drive over to it with no preparation. And this, this is what I'm looking at, my horrible drawing. So this is, let's say this is the lake that's kind of like a, I don't know what you'd call that shape, and this would be like, say that that's a deeper hole. And we're going to talk about how you know the hole's out there if you don't have any mapping or any electronics, and say there's a hole here. And then say that you can tell that this is kind of shallow here and this is shallow here. So just looking at this lake, and again, this isn't perfect. It changes with the season, but you're looking for basically multiple options for a fish. And I'm not talking cover yet, but depth is kind of a form of cover too, protection. But I would fish right here. The fish have to pass through. It's got a deep hole. It's got the shallows. You got to hit that spot, obviously. And you got the hole down here. So you're going to look around here, and what I would look for is any irregularities. Is there any type of humps, any type of cover around this so that instead of it being 360 degrees, now you know, like, okay, you're going over there. So in your head, you can kind of break down the lake. Okay, I'm going to hit this spot. I'm going to work this spot real good. I'm going to go down and hit this spot. And, then you got your creek coming out of it, perhaps. It was dammed up. So that's, you're going to have to hit that area. And then the creek's coming, maybe a creek's flowing into it. Hit that and even go up the creek is one of my favorite spots to hit on. And lakes around us is get out of the boat or the canoe, or if you're bank fishing, is really go explore that creek. Because I find a lot of these fish head up that creek depending on the times of year. That's my very elementary, basic lake breakdown. You can break down any lake like that, but I just wanted to convey the idea of a breakdown is to save you a lot of time and headaches and give you a better chance of just setting up in the right spot. You can always just get lucky too. And you can be completely wrong. Like you can catch them because you don't realize there's a hump in the water. But another thing about humps, if there is current that flows over a hump, the bottom will usually be hard due to the current. Yeah. I wanted to, keep bringing up the points because I'm probably going to miss half the stuff that, like, when I'm thinking about it, I write down. It comes to Lobster Boy. I'm going to go by my notes here so I don't miss anything. Break down body of water. That's there. I feel like a lobster's coming. So you're fishing, fish the high percentage areas first. It's just a time saver. So thanks, Lyle. Electronics. So yeah, let me touch on electronics. Again, I don't like electronics, not that they don't work, but they cause me a little stress, and I don't fish to be stressed at all. I do it to relax. So, but water temperature is huge for me. So I do have I have electronics on my boat that I keep in the reservoir, and all I really use is, like, I'm looking for temperature, because knowing different species of fish or what you're going for, like this time of year, you're looking for warm water. So I go by temperature, depth. I'm doing depth control, and speed. Like if you're doing trolling and things like that. I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hello. That's really what I use it for.
You landed him.
I want to tie that right into winter bank fishing, I think. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to show you this breakdown. Hold on, but I got to turn this camera around. I found this cool site that, let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to just tell you the site. Let me get the camera straight here. If you want to check it out, I found it really, really cool. It's takemefishing.org, which is a great channel for beginners to fishing, and I use it all the time too, especially if I'm fishing since we're multi-species. I'm not an expert in all the fish that my children might decide to chase on any given day. So takemefishing.org has a link how to break down a river. And as a guided river fishing in Alaska, this is like my cup of tea. And I found this really cool. Let me use the right mouse here. You go to the site, and it's like real intuitive. Like you're looking at the river map, and then you can click the structure, like outside bends, rock and boulder pockets, eddies, small point waves, merging currents. And from there, it'll show you what it looks like. It'll show you how to fish it, what type of fish will hold in there. Really a cool site. And then when you scroll down on the page, it's got just so much more information. It's laid out really well. So if you're fast, you can just look at the pictures and just kind of get an idea, like, oh, I didn't think about that. Or you just get a game plan on the water that you're going to hit. Irregularities in the contours. Sometimes fish will be suspended on the backside of the hump, especially if there's current. Yeah, like an eddy in a creek, really. I mean, creeks is similar like that. Current around types of structure, rock trees, always a good place to fish. Double hook angling. What's going on, buddy? Double hook. I don't know how you're not a moderator already. Let me add you as a moderator. Dave's got one of my favorite channels. Awesome channel. I think you're a moderator now. What are you up to, buddy? I saw you getting your worm farm ready, and I don't know. Did I? Oh, I didn't post the video. We made a video of us getting our worm farm ready right after you got your worm farm ready, which is an old fridge that we have outside. Um, I dug it up from last year. We haven't used it in like 9 months. I went all the way to the bottom of it, and I found one little red crawler worm left. So I threw like a dozen in there.
There, now you're better.
Thanks.
We'll keep the lobster on you.
The river. I think I've beaten that to death here. I don't need to cover that anymore. Double hook caught a few trout today. Awesome, man. Double hook fishes out of Kansas. So I guess you got, is your ice all off the lakes out that way? Bogley's, thanks for coming in, buddy. Another awesome channel. A lot of great channels in here. I'm making you all moderators. If I miss somebody, let me know. About moderators. I'm going to make everyone moderators, but if I miss something or I take your moderator away, it's not personal. It's just to limit like me forgetting who's a moderator and who's not. And I'm trying to only give moderators to the people that I know, and I know all you guys. But I'm not. There might be a time where somebody comes in and I don't know who they are, and I give them a moderator, and it creates an issue, and I have to take it back. If you're hurt by something, you got a question about something, just send me a message, and I'll tell you why. It was probably an accident anyway. I'll just tell you what's up with it. I don't need drama. Not here for any drama. Ice is gone and just the last day. Nice. All right. Yeah, the ice is just about gone. We did a video New Year's Eve, and it was like, ice. The whole video is about us trying to find open water. We did a video January 2nd, 2 days later, and we're down the shore in shorts in the ocean. It was insane. I mean, we shouldn't have been in the ocean because it was like literally had some ice on it, but it was like in the 60s. I think it actually hit the 60s, and it was dang warm. So we got wet. Winter bank fishing. I know you guys all know this, but in case somebody pops in here or somebody wants to replay it, we asked for the agenda from the viewers, and another item they wanted to discuss was winter bank fishing. I have to assume you don't know the area, right? Because like if you know the area, you can kind of tell where everybody's fishing. Not that that's always the best spot, but you know where the spots typically are. But if you don't, a lot of that comes with just reading a river, understanding cut banks, gravel plain, how the current's going from one side of the water to the other, and then what species of fish you're fishing for, where they are going to hold. But beyond that, at basics, for winter bank fishing, and I have found that this actually works pretty good, and it's general and it's relative, but find warm water. A huge game changer this time of year. Again, we're in Pennsylvania, might not be true everywhere, but right here we're at the temperature where most fish are just not active at all. And finding the warm water is key. We did, I think, 2 or 3 videos now during the winter because it's been slow at this one hole we keep coming back to. And we'll cover 5, 6 pockets of water and catch pretty much nothing. And then we go back to the spot. And it's because it flows out of a lake on the bottom. So it's probably 55 degrees year round, and which is now warm compared to summer. It's cold, but those fish are nuts. They're just colorful, active feeding. So it's hard not to keep fishing there because you fish somewhere else. You're like, why are we doing this? Going back to the good spot. Avoiding wind in the wintertime, I find is actually helpful. Keeps you out there longer for basic reasons like that, staying warm. But I always also find the fishing, and again, we're talking about creeks, lakes, I actually like a little wind, but on rivers, I found, especially in winter, I avoid the wind. I look for pockets. Maybe that's why it stays warm or whatever, but that's what I do. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not going to keep saying this over and over again because everybody's an expert these days, and I don't know. I've been outfished by people who don't know what they're talking about, and I've been outfished by professionals. So, and I've outfished a few people in my day too. So it's fishing. Fish the warm time. I always enjoy the winter fishing when it comes to trout, especially because all summer long, you got the sun's up at like 5:30 in the morning and it's setting at like 8. Well, dang, if those fish aren't biting at 5 in the morning and then 8 at night. And so you're getting up at like 3:30 to get to the spot, or you're staying up late and winter comes and it's like, I'm staying in, I'm going to sleep in, I'm going to eat scrapple. And then once it's at the warmest time of the day, I can go fish. Now, most people do that all year round, which is a huge mistake. But in winter, that's when most of the fish in this area, bass, sunfish, trout, all those fish tend to be a little bit more active in the middle of the day in winter only, not even fall or summer. I mean, fall, summer, spring, but winter, that's the only time I find that to be true. Other than that, I'm the first one on the water. That's the biggest tip I'll give any fisherman, especially in a populated area. Get to the hole first. Slow down. Fish I find hold in one spot. They don't move around. So the idea of you're casting and casting and casting and you feel like, oh, there's no fish there. But your strike zone, instead of a fish going maybe 5-6 feet up to hit the water, they may just hold right there. But if you put that jig right in front of its face and you work through and you work on your reaction bites, you'll definitely pick them up. It just takes a lot of time. So you got to be patient and you have to be confident in the action that you're giving the lure, or I guess you can use a worm and it's not as big of a problem, but they're not going to necessarily come to the bait. You got to bring it to them and you're working with a small strike zone. And I would say a slow presentation. Again, like they're not going to be flying around. Steve from Wyoming, welcome. Steve's got a great channel. I don't know if you're a moderator. I'm going to add you. Steve just hit 1,000 subscribers. Did you get your hours? What is it? Like 40,000 hours or something you got to get? I know you were close. Great channel. I don't know where he finds the ocean, but he's been doing a lot of ocean fishing out in Wyoming. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know there was an ocean out there. Yeah, buddy. Nice. Love your channel, man. I love people that just do what they do. I don't like drama. I don't like all the drama. Keep it simple. So the slow presentation in winter fishing I find is helpful. But I think a common mistake, and I used to make this mistake too, is thinking that because you're fishing slow in winter, that you have to fish small. Sometimes you do downsize, but I found doesn't necessarily matter so much. And we've caught a few bass this winter, a few nicer fish by throwing something a little bit bigger and crankbaits, a larger crankbait pattern or a rattle trap. And we've picked up a few nice fish here and there. So I think slow is more important than the size of the lure in the winter. This is like going back to college. If you haven't written in 20 years, trying to write stuff down. I don't want to be unprepared. I want to just chat too, but I feel like we should have some type of structure, especially for people watching it later. But if you guys have anything to talk about, chat, we can definitely do that. First time casting. Welcome, man. Welcome. Another great channel. I feel like a broken record, but you guys are awesome. I watch all you guys because you're awesome. First time I just made you a subscriber. That'd be great if we could do that. I just made you a moderator, so feel free to share your link. Steve, yeah, you got your wrench there. Yours should be coming up soon. First time. Yeah, the community is amazing. It's such a nice community of folks, like-minded people you can talk to. And I'm trying to drag some new fish guys that I see out on the water all the time. They're on Fish Brain all the time. And we'll get them into these chats. And I think they just feel like a little afraid to join. But I think they could all learn so much. And it would be a blast talking to. I love fishing with kids and watching kids fish, because what's funny is like they do a lot of stuff wrong. and it works. And it's like, I've seen kids with like a hook right on the swivel, and and like he's bringing in a huge fish. But what they do and we don't do is they first of all, they believe they're going to catch something. They've got faith. They stick with it, and they got all the energy you can imagine. And I've learned that from my little one. Like, he's proven me wrong so many times. So you got to keep learning. You can't think you know everything. I think that's a huge, huge advantage kids have. And Fish Brain, like, I'm not huge into the social media. I think that's like I'm hardly on Facebook. I still have trouble I don't have access to Messenger. So I'm hardly on there, and I can't get it on my work devices. They don't allow us to have any social apps at my job, even like TikTok, but nothing else. No social medias at all anymore. So like, I'm always at work. I have all my devices are like work related. They can't not be. So it's really hard for me to have a side channel here to do something and not get in the way of work. Plumber, thanks for coming in, bud. Ready for spring, pull the boat out. I haven't even put my boat's sitting in my front yard because I can't get into my shed right now. I got to get it in there soon. I told myself I'm going to leave it out. And I'm going to I want to put some new seats into it and do a little bit more work on it. I want to make a platform in the front. We want to do put some night lighting in, do some night fishing for cats next year, but it's not going to happen. There's no way. I'm going to be just falling all over the V-hole again for another year. I'm going to make you a moderator, Plumber, if I haven't already. Plumber comes from the train crew. I follow a lot of the train crew. Boxcar Jerry is another guy I follow a lot. So I've met a lot of good friends over there. I don't know. I'm always liked trains. My grandpa always took me to trains when I was little. And someday I think I'd like to have them in my house. My uncle used to take me he always take me to train places. So my kids, they were obsessed with them when they were kids. So it's just natural. And it's not that I get stressed with fishing, but it's a nice different outlet. Who did I miss? Somebody else came in here. Whisker Seekers Outdoors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, anyone that has joined us that hasn't been with us before, Tuesday tips. We're going to do it every Tuesday night at 7:00. The idea is to have a forum where anyone new to fishing or newer to fishing that has questions can come ask those questions. And then all the old heads like us that have been fishing for their life can pretend like we know what we're talking about and give them some tips and help them out a little bit, answer some questions, and just have a good time. Share links, support each other's channels. Everything like that. Speak of the devil. What are you just lurking back there? I just mentioned you, Jerry. Probably back there lurking. Or did you have a live tonight? I got to drive home, so I missed your live last night. Jerry usually has a live at like 5:00. Missed a live last night. I missed it tonight. So I did my mandatory 2 days in the office. I think I've worked the last 3 months. I think I've been in there like 4 times, but a lot of issues coming up lately. So I've been going in twice a week, but I'm here the rest of the week. Nets Blog, thanks for coming in. Awesome channel, another supportive channel. She's always out there hopping on everybody's lives and inviting people onto her lives. Awesome, awesome channel. Going to make you a moderator. You can share your link. Like I said before, I'm making most people moderators in the chats. If I take them away, it's just because I want to keep track of who's moderators or not. So I may take them away again and then like figure out who I want as moderators. I'm always too busy when I watch people's channels to moderate. So I feel guilty making somebody moderate. So I just give it to you so you guys can share each other's links or share your own links out. Yep. Yeah, first time. I know you guys are always on together. I see you guys on together a lot. You got it, Nets. I've got my other monitors running in the background just for lighting. So they just timed out. I got to bring them up. There you go. All right. So we were talking about bank fishing in the winter. So bank fishing, whether it be a lake, a river, or anywhere, especially if you're on like a dock where you can't move around, one of the practices that I've used very successfully, and I've fished in some spots like Pulaski, New York, and Salmon River and stuff, where you're in a spot where like you're at one spot and you feel like you're just fishing over the same spot. Aiden Loftus, yeah, what's going on, buddy? Aiden's one of the guys I met on Fish Brain. Awesome dude, lives pretty close to me. Really good fisherman. Fishes kind of like our style, all over the place and just out for adventure and all species. I don't think you have a channel, Aiden, but I'm going to make you a moderator for tonight, and then I'm going to pull it back after the live in case you are or want to share anything out. Aiden's a good friend of mine. So yeah, we're talking about casting and it like bank fishing. You're stuck in one spot. One of the problems with that for me is like I get there, I cast a couple of times, I'm like, oh, no fish, time to move on. If I'm thinking straight and I am in the right mindset, what I used to do for salmon especially is like do the countdown technique. Like if you're using, I don't know, I guess like 1/4 ounce is like a typical jig or weight of a lure. Every like second it drops, like so you cast, it hits the water, you start counting. Every second is a foot, basically. That's close enough. It's gonna be a foot. So if it drops 10 seconds, you're basically in 10 feet of water. So you let it hit the bottom and you're like, all right, I'm working with 10 feet. And then you can work the different depths. So maybe you reel in when it, give it 2 seconds and then give it 4 seconds, 7 seconds. So you figure out maybe where they're hitting at. I've also used that same technique, believe it or not, going back to breaking down the body of water on depths and humps. I use that a lot to find like depths. I will get there and I'll cast out especially I do it with like carp fishing a lot, or the cats. I'll cast out and I'll try to find different depths in an area. And mentally I start like reading what the water depth and what it looks like on the bottom. I'll also drag it along the bottom to see if I'm in rock, feeling like if I'm in rock or if I'm in weeds, and trying to find like the crevices or the spot in between both of those. Thanks, first time. Contact, yeah. So contact lure is basically, in my mind, a contact lure is something that like a lizard is, I guess, my contact lure. Something that you have like a weight, like a Texas rig on the front of it, and you're getting to the bottom, and you can just feel. You just feel the line, and you start feeling the train, and you kind of know what you're fishing. What else did I write down here? Underwater cover. So everybody knows fish need cover. They go to cover. Most people are going to look for a big log, big stump, big rock sticking out. But guess what? Everyone else has already seen it. Everyone's already worked it. Not that it's not a great spot and you got to hit it. But if you can find underwater cover, that's where the fish are going to be. They're not going to be pressured as much. They're going to hit more. Trying to find it takes time, takes, a lot. But people like, I know like Aiden fishes like I do, and my boys, just because my kids are little, we cover water all summer long. We're playing in creeks. We know where every single rock is. Come opening day when the water's high in the spring, we know where we're casting. We walk up there. It looks like we just got lucky, but we know exactly what rock we're casting at. Yes, yeah. If you guys are trying to connect with each other and you go to each other's channels, I think most of you guys are in the YouTube, you know how it works. Like if you go and you sub and somebody subs right back, YouTube like removes it right away. Pain in the butt. I can't stand that they do that. So try to watch a video, watch a couple of videos, like a short or something, drop a comment. And then a lot of times they'll look at your comment and they'll follow you back to your channel and they'll sub there and comment on yours. But give them a couple minutes because you might really like what you see. I watch as many as I can, and I do. There's a button that you can say watch later. You create like a watch list. So if you're bored and you're not sure what to do, just go through your watch list and watch some of the videos. And it's so many fascinating things out there. This might be a little odd, but when I hit a new spot and I know there is carp, I will try to catch one. They tend to run the cover and I follow the line to see where they go. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'd second that. I caught one of my favorite catches of my life was on a fly rod in Schwenksville, Pennsylvania on the Perkiomen. And I caught it on a mulberry pattern. I was in college, I think. And I right at the sewage plant. I caught it one time, and it was over 30 inches. It was a nice sized carp. First time I couldn't get it in, I lost it because it ran the cover. And the mulberry trees and bushes all hang into the water there, and they just wrap right into it. So the second time I hooked it, I jumped, and this water is like up to my shoulder. I jumped into the water and I ran out to the middle of the creek, and I fought it from the middle of the creek and finally landed it. But yeah, you might be onto something. Jigs and fallen trees. You know, I find myself getting away from cover, which is a huge mistake, but I do it because my kid just tears through tackle like insane. But there's a saying, like, if you're not losing lures, you're not in the right spot. Like, that's how it works. But sometimes it's just out of control. Outdoors with Big Matt. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. We're just talking about bank fishing right now, especially in the winter time. Yep, got a whole bunch of people in here. Share each other's channels out and visit each other's channels, support them. I know every single person in here right now, all awesome people. And the other kind of goes back to what I was saying with like counting down, fishing the depth. So if you're fishing out in front of you, you're thinking, okay, that's my spot, but you got layers of water, and really break that down in your mind. But take your time, work each layer. Then you can fan the casts out this way. And when you're fanning the casts, back what I was saying about counting the fall, that's where you're going to realize the depth of it. So maybe it's 10 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet. Well, I'm going to be coming back to that 5 feet, and I'm going to be working that a lot, and both sides of that 5 feet. So you start, like I said, you start building an idea of what the layout of the bottom of the water is. And then I guess that's called like fan casting, I think is what they refer to that as. So fishing the area effectively. So knowing the different depths, maybe I throw different baits at different depths, whatever, something on the top, more top water, something in the middle of the column, and a crawfish pattern or something on the bottom. To work it effectively. So one little spot, you can spend a lot of time there, especially if you got nowhere else to go and it's slow fishing anyway. Fishing Expo in January. Is that? Oh yeah, February. That's Oaks, right? I think I went down there last year. I think Fife Dog, the other Aiden, I think went down there. We talked to Expo, the Philly dude, Extreme Philly was down there. Yeah, I'm going to try to go. You going to go down? Here's some big net casting adventures. RCA TV. Awesome, man. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Anyone that connects with me tonight that's not already connected, I'll follow them back. And I'm gonna make you a moderator, RCA, so that you can share your link out. I try to. We all get busy, but I try to do my best and go back and support each of the channels. Boxcar Jerry, where you been, man? Every year there's a big show down there. Big show. They fish like they show this dude fishing like in a tank, and they're working like with bass lures. There's like a fly fishing dude casting in a pool. There's a trout pool that you can go catch trout in. Yeah, man, it's awesome. Tons of like sport fisheries and charters. We used to do the one out when I used to like when we were operating in Alaska. I used to do the Harrisburg show every year, and I sat in it. I want to keep this PG, but I sat in that little booth for 10 days every day, like 10, 12-hour days, just horrendous to sit there and tell people where the bathroom was 24/7. But to go there as like a customer, it's pretty cool. You get to talk to everybody. And we went down last year, and we tried to win a free shark trip, and they literally hook your kid, or they can hook you up into this shark rig. It's like a dog harness they put around you. And then, or no, I think they do it that way too. But to win the trip, you had to like try to reel this guy in. So they hooked the harness to the guy, and you had to like try to reel him in. They have a lot of cool stuff. Right, Aiden did the same thing, man. We blew a lot of money at that trout pond. Yeah, that actually would be a great live. Just embarrassing yourself. Like you can't get any more pressured than that. I, you're fishing in a like a baby pool filled with trout. That would be awesome. Shoot a live in there. Harrisburg's the biggest show around, Jerry. That's still the best, I would say. But the fishing expo is nice. It's doable. It's the expo center. I'm sure you've been there. I think you've been there, right? It's pretty quick get around. Uh, Off the Hook Outdoors. Kevy. We got my boss just came in here. Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors. I'm going to make him a moderator. Please share your link. We were talking about lake breakdowns earlier, and I mentioned, I believe you were saying something about if they become a member on your channel, they can, you'll catch them fish. Now, you give them a breakdown of like lake. They can say the lake that they want to broken down, and you'll break down that specific lake. I hope I'm not wrong on that, but I think that's what you said, something to that extent. So I gave him the elementary lesson on breaking down lakes, but if you want somebody who's doing it like, a serious breakdown of your lake and really going over everything, Ted from Off the Hook Outdoors would be a great resource for that. Jeff, fun? You say hi to everyone? All these people are watching.
Hi.
Kev was just at the trampoline place jumping for the last couple hours. Getting any fights? How was dodgeball?
There's no one in there.
No, okay. Sometimes the dodgeball court at the trampoline park gets a little rough. Sometimes I got to go in there and settle the score with those kids.
What is that?
Fishing with Lamb Jam. Have a good night, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. My throat gets dry when I talk. You should talk. You know what I'm going to do? Do you want to rig a trout worm here? We wanted to rig a trout worm. Somebody lost our trout worms.
Definitely not me.
It's definitely him. I went through all the stuff. There's no trout worms. I just bought a bag of trout worms.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, these things stink in the house. So this is a power worm. I think they call them mouse tails, right? Yeah, mouse tails. Here's what we do with these. And another Aiden around us, Aiden Fife taught us this trick. You take this little head, we take it right off like that. And basically what you have here is a trout worm.
Yes.
Try to do it right in here so they can, you got to hold it like up here. You wanna...
It's hard to see, but you're gonna grab the hook and just inch it up like a worm.
Keep it up higher. Yep. So you're going to hide the entire hook in the worm. And you want, there you go. Awesome. So you see up top, you got the worm right up to the head of it. And so it takes a little bit of guesswork. He actually did a really good job. You want to have the hook. This part needs to be straight. Like if you go too far, it'll kind of look like this and go not enough. It'll like be out here on the hook. You want to hide the hook as much as possible. And you can put this on like a trout magnet head, which this is. It's like 1/64th. Or you could put it on like no weighted head at all. This thing is deadly for sunfish, trout, panfish. I mean, deadly. And you can just sit it there like this and it'll just flop around. And you can even shorten this. Sometimes we'll shorten the tail down like that too. Kevin the Pro. It's better than I am, man. I can't see half this trout stuff. Like I get frustrated. That's why I want to go salmon fishing. I can't tie trout stuff anymore. It's too small. Real-time catfishing. I don't think you were in here. Thanks for coming in, bud. Appreciate it. Were you here? I don't think you were in here earlier. I know you've been in here before, but thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, we're not going to be on that much longer, honestly. It's 8 o'clock. Somebody's got bed coming up.
I am not going to bed anytime soon.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is the trout magnets that we use. This is like my go-to bait for trout, stockies and natives, just because it's a great reaction bite. But the trout worm, somebody specifically asked us how to do that, and they actually sell like an actual power bait worm. And the only difference between that and this thing is the power worms. They come in like one long thing, and you'll see on the worm it's fat and then it's like thin, and you just have to like break them into pieces is all you do. And you don't want to use the whole thing because that's a little too long, I think. But I rig them the same way, just like that. I've put them on like a regular worm where you're hooking the worm twice. I've not had much luck that way though. So I recommend doing it that way, even though there's a lot of extra rubber off the back and you might get short bites. And that's when, if you are getting the short bites, you just pinch the tail off. But it's a really cool. See, plumber's kid's going to bed, off to bed. Now that kid's going to watch you and say, why don't I have to go? He doesn't have to go to bed. Why do I got to go to bed?
I have no clue.
No answer. So I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. You guys have any questions? You guys want to chat about anything? You guys have any trips coming up? You know, any secret spots? Aiden reminded me that there's the fishing show in February down in Oaks. Want to go down to that? Remember where you were fighting the shark and trying to catch trout in that tub?
Oh yeah.
That's coming up again if you want to go down. In 10th grade, man, those were the days. I hit my peak in fishing, I think, in that age, honestly. That's what I tell Kevin all the time. We live right on the creek and bike trails everywhere. Like, man, I'm not going to see you for like 5 years. Like that. When I was that age, I got on the bike and I was gone. I was always fishing. You learn so much just out exploring and making mistakes. I don't know. I think we're pretty much done, guys. I really appreciate everybody coming. I don't say it enough, but we really appreciate all the support we get. We get so many. I always expect like 2 people to come in, and I'm always like blown away the comments and how many people watch the videos, and then somebody will comment on something like 20 minutes into the video, and I'm like, oh my god, they actually watched it. That's awesome. And it gets some like really cool, like the letters and stuff. But some like I had one guy who told us he watches this channel with his like 2-year-old every night when he's trying to get his kid to bed because his kid's into fishing and they fish together. And I thought that was like really cool. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And it makes fishing a little bit more fun, gives it a little more incentive to get out there. And what do you think we're going to go for next?
Sunfish or trout.
Sunfish or trout. What was your favorite catch this weekend?
This weekend.
Yeah, down the shore, I guess.
Oh, the shore.
No, that was like 2 days ago. He doesn't think he's fished in a long time. He's been out there like 2 days ago. Awesome. Yeah, me too. First time. Glad you came by. You always have great lives. You guys are awesome. I'm trying to not embarrass myself here. Thanks, Aiden. Appreciate it, man. Chat later. What was your favorite catch? Shrimp? We caught shrimp down there. Caught crabs. What else? Eel.
I was pretty shocked by the eel.
Yeah, the eel was pretty cool. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys definitely next Tuesday. I'll be here at 7. So if you got nothing better to do, come check it out. Peace.